Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be in the Open Great League featuring Defense Deoxys. Defense Deoxys paired with the Registeel and Altaria in the back. Altaria and Registeel, really good core in the back. And honestly, the Defense Deoxys in the lead here is just to win the lead. We're going to either win the lead or we're going to barely lose the lead so that we can get extra farm for our backline. So that's the plan. This is a favorable lead if we can just fire off a bunch of Thunderbolts. They do debuff us, they switch out, and they end up forcing us to use our Altaria. Altaria versus the Sableye is a winning matchup as long as we shield once. And we end up shielding the return, which is even better. So we should be able to win this pretty easily. Now we're just going to throw the Sky Attack. They have a decision, and they decide to let it go. They bring in their Azumarill. So this Azumarill here is going to be generally pretty good against this Altaria. But we're going to be able to do some chip damage here. This chip damage will pay off. Now we're just going to be going in versus another Sky Attack right there. Now we force them to finally use their last Ice Beam, possibly. Yep. That Ice Beam easily takes away the Altaria. Now we're just going to wait the time. Come in here with the Registeel. This Registeel is going to be able to tank this move here. We're anticipating it has play rough because it was running Ice Beam, and we were right. Here they switch on to their Registeel, which forces us to switch out into our Defense Deoxys. We were honestly trying to farm down there, but we decided to let go the Defense Deoxys so we can get all that extra farm from that Regi. And now we just are in a very favorable matchup. We go for the Zap Cannon here to potentially debuff them. Okay, no debuff. But we also know that this Azumarill doesn't have Hydro Pump. So as long as we don't lag out, this should be GG's. And this is game over. The best thing they can do here is throw resisted play roughs or chip away with the Ice Beam, and they realize their fate. So GG's to our opponent right there. And let's see if we can keep on winning here. Like I said, Defense Deoxys, kind of a sneaky, really good lead right now. As you're seeing a bunch of like Noctowl's Lantern Core, or maybe even like Registeel and Medicham. All right, here it is a unfavorable matchup, but we're going to try our best to whittle away at the Dane. Like I said, they're going to throw another discharge here. We are able to tank it, which is great. We're going to throw the Thunderbolt here first. This Thunderbolt would chip it away, and now our idea is throw this Psycho Boost before they get to their next move to just chip away at this. We do end up getting a shield, which is really nice. Oh, our opponent catches one of our resist, or not only is it resisted, but it's also debuffed. But we notice that this is a Shadow Sableye, so this is not the Purified one, so it does not have the return, but it potentially could have Power Gem. So we just do the same thing like we did earlier. We do one shield, and then we're going to be able to win this matchup. Our opponent ends up double shielding, and maybe they were trying to get to that Power Gem, but we were able to get to another Sky Attack to KO this Sableye. So that Sableye ended up with fainting with a bunch of energy. So that's really good for us. Here they go for the discharge. Even a discharge from the Titania does not KO. That is really unfortunate. Our opponent realizes that they're not going to be able to farm us down, so they switch out. It ends up being the Azumarill, but unfortunately for them, we have the Registeel waiting for this Azumarill. And this Azumarill potentially could have a Hydro Pump because I did 7 bubbles there, and we did shield the correct move. And so now this is just a matter of making sure we know how many bubbles they're at, and making sure that we throw that Zap Cannon. That Zap Cannon did not debuff, so here we're just going to have to throw Focus Blast right before they get to their Hydro Pump, because that Hydro Pump would be full effect, full force, and now it's just GG's. We can just farm down with the Registeel. There are no moves from this Titania that can take out this Registeel, and it's GG's. So obviously, with this kind of team, the way that we set it up, it is very dependent on the lead. But let's see if we run into any unfavorable leads, and let's see if we can come back from them. I think it's still pretty decent, even if it loses the lead, unless it's obviously you run into hard counter. So we have a favorable lead here. If we can get a couple of these Thunderbolts off, we are either going to get a shield or we're going to be able to KO. They go for the Icy Wind debuff. The Icy Wind debuff is going to allow them to survive, so they ended up not shielding, but we are going to be able to get this farm. Okay, and they end up having the Medicham. So here we try to bamboozle them. We thought that if we switch out immediately, they would switch out into something in the back, but unfortunately for us, they decided to stay in because this is exactly what they want to see, especially with their Medicham running Power-Up Punch. We are fortunate enough to get the debuff, so we're gonna force them to use another Power-Up Punch here. So they're only one stage increased. Here, they did an interesting move here. They threw another Power-Up Punch right before this Registeel went out because I guess they realized that the Medicham boosted would be their best chance to win this game. And we're forced to come in with the Altaria. Now, they showed that they have Power-Up Punch, but do they have Ice Punch with this, or do they have Psychic? This is potentially the Psychic, but they actually go for the Power-Up Punch. We do get the last shield from them. And we try to switch out and throw the Psycho Boost, but they were able to get their move off before I do, and they do reveal that they have Psychic right there. So unfortunate play by us. This is GG's. They had some pretty hardcore counters in the back right there. We had to use the defense Deoxys in the lead to let it go down because they had the perfect lineup in the back for us. Hindsight is 2020, but okay. So here's an unfavorable matchup. We're gonna be switching to Reggie. They decide to stay in and throw a potential Shadow Ball here. This Shadow Ball does not KO, so we don't shield. Oh, so they switch into their Galarian Stunfisk. They tank a Focus Blast here. This is actually good that we were able to bait out the Galarian Stunfisk because obviously we don't want to see the Altaria versus this Galarian Stunfisk. We do get a shield, so Registeel has done his job already. Here we're going to force out Earthquake because Rock Slide would not KO, so we know that they used a bunch of energy right there. And at this point, we want this Galarian Stunfisk gone as fast as possible. So we're going to come with our Deoxys, probably tank a Earthquake right here. Okay, and now we're just hoping that this Altaria can sweep in the back. We immediately switch out. They're staying in. It looks like they're going up to a bunch of energy. We're just going to throw a move here. At this point, not exactly sure. Maybe a flyer in the back. Oh! Ends up being a spicy Shadow Beedrill. This Shadow Beedrill only has potentially Sludge Bomb to throw at this Altaria. So I believe that we're going to let it go, and it ends up being the X Scissor. So this is actually probably running X Scissor and Drill Run, and because of that, we're just going to show this and try to get rid of this as soon as possible. We didn't want to take that Shadow X Scissor because we don't want to see the Defense Deoxys versus that Shadow Beedrill at all. So here we're just going to go for the Psycho Boost just to test out how much damage the Psycho Boost does. And that is enough to KO right there. So that is good information for in the future. It will probably KO a Jellicent about in the red just with the Psycho Boost. We didn't need to go to the Thunderbolt right there. So let's see if we can end off on a really good note here. That team right there was able to come back from a bad lead, and here we do have another terrible lead. That was probably the worst scenario for us. So we do see another Stunfisk. This Stunfisk is gonna have to throw at least one Earthquake here. It is able to tank one Focus Blast. Here we're trying, we have a decision to make. Are we going to shield here or are we going to let it go? We decided to let it go, and we are able to get to another Focus Blast. So at worst case, we're going to get one shield. And at this point, since they have a Sableye and they brought in a Stunfisk, in my mind, I think they have some kind of flyer, right? So we're just going to try to get rid of this Defense Deoxys early because we think there's a flyer in the back. And we think 2 shields with the Altaria in the back should be good. Let's find out. Okay, it ends up being the Lantern. That also makes sense too. Unfortunately for them, we have 2 shields and they only have 1. So if we just look at all these Dragon Breaths plus the Moon Blast that we're going to throw here, is going to apply maximum pressure. We do end up shielding that Thunderbolt, by the way, so that Thunderbolt did not go through. We have another decision here to make. Are we going to shield this Thunderbolt? We decided to shield the Thunderbolt here because we want this Altaria to be healthy, and we get the full farm down right there. That was really good by our Altaria here. And now they're threatened by the Moonblast, so we decided to go straight for the Moonblast here. This Moonblast would KO, and that was only a foul play, so we are able to survive it, and now we're going to be able to blast this back to reality. So GG's to our opponent right there. Check out this team if you haven't already, and let us know if you enjoyed the video.